Gabby Agbonlahor, welcome to In the Box, mate. Thanks for coming on the show. Now, I've got to tell you, your old youth team manager, Kevin McDonald, was my manager at Swindon Town, and he reckons you was the second quickest player behind me that he'd ever worked with. So I'm not sure how you feel about that, man.
Kev, knowing Kev, he'll probably run you afterwards. Knowing Kev McDonald, Jesus, he was a proper old school manager, wasn't he?
He was old school, mate, but a top guy. And to be fair, I'm only joking, mate. I wouldn't have caught you in my motor, to be honest, back in my days. But to be fair, one thing I will say about Kev is he loved you. He loved you, Villa boys. He never used to stop talking about it. I think that was where it went wrong for me and Kev. As soon as I mentioned that I prefer character Gareth Barry, that's when he stopped playing me.
I think that's why we carry. I don't know. He just always loved, didn't he? Like being at Villa. I think he went back, didn't he, after Swindon to Villa?
Yes, I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he went back. Yeah, but like, yeah, Kev, what a guy! Like banter, aggression, everything, didn't he? Yeah. Them sort of managers are missing again.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Right, Gabby. First of all, how's things, mate? Anyway, how's lockdown been going for you?
Yeah, it's been okay. You know, I've just been spending more time with the kids. Just doing like, to be fair, I've been doing like twice the amount of fitness just to like, we got so much free time. Like, why not get out the door, go for a 5K run, a 7K run? Just like keep yourself healthy.
Yeah.
And just really go for a run every morning, then spend the day with the kids, then repeat really. So just like every day is like Groundhog Day, to be honest.
Like being back at playing football again, mate.
Hey, you're not wrong.
Right, okay then. Get down to it. The reason why you're on. Time to name your Dream 11 of players you've played with throughout your career. Now, I always ask players the process behind selecting their team. But by looking at the team you sent over to me, mate, looks like you just couldn't decide what midfielders to leave out, and you've just gone for the old Spanish 4-6 formation, yeah?
Do you know what, mate? I just couldn't leave certain players out. It's not worth the hassle afterwards. So, but there's been so many great midfielders I played with that, like, I think I'd rather leave. The strikers I played with were great, but the midfielders were just of a generation, most of them that, like, were just stars, lots of Barry, and Aston Young, etc. So I just couldn't leave them out, to be honest. I didn't pick myself.
Well, the way you was doing the team, it was like you was building it all up to have yourself up there with all the service you get. But now, to be fair, mate, I'm looking forward to seeing how you set them up, because listen, there's no question marks on the names of the players, but in terms of the formation, it's going to be interesting. But okay, we'll get down to it. In goal, who was your goalkeeper?
So I was going to go Davy James.
David James.
Just because I played with some good goalkeepers at Aston Villa, like to Brad Friedel, Brad Guzan, but Davy James for me with England was like, he was in good form when I played for England with him. And yeah, I just think he was a great keeper, and I think his stats over his career, the amount of games he played, the amount of England games he played, a great goalkeeper. Yeah,
no problem with that. And like I say, you played for Aston Villa as well, your beloved team anyway. I was going to ask, just on him, you mentioned the keepers that you'd played with there for Villa, the likes of Friedel, Sorensen, Guzan, and even Foster with England. What made David James sort of, maybe a little bit better than them?
Yeah, he just, David James, I don't know, like people sometimes forget that now, like when football goes on, you go 5 years, you go 10 years, you go 15 years. I think people forget how good certain players were. Yeah. And I think David James, like, yeah, he made a lot of howlers, didn't he? He was one of them keepers that used to come off his line a lot. But the saves he made, the teams he played for, you can't look back at his career and say he wasn't one of the great England goalkeepers for sure.
No arguments for that, mate. Okay, then, moving on. Back four.
So I'm going to start right back. I'm going to start Micah Richards.
Yeah.
Not only is he like one of my close friends, but when I was breaking through, he was breaking through as well. He broke through before me. And he was the youngest ever right back defender even to play for England.
Yeah.
At 18. So when he burst onto the scene at like 16, everyone was like, wow, who's this 16-year-old built like a 25-year-old tank? Do you know what I mean? Like, and he was my worst nightmare to play against as a striker or winger, because like when someone's quick and strong, it's sort of like like even if I didn't have much trickery, but even if you did, it's not going to be enough. Like he's just that much of a beast. So I think he deserves that right back spot, and I'll definitely have him in there.
Yeah, no problems with that. I remember, I think it was at Villa Park when he scored that goal and then swore on BBC live, right?
yeah. That there. I think it was like 16, 17. So to be that young and to play like men's football is crazy. Because like when I look back at when I was 16, 17, I was nowhere near ready to play men's football. So it's good for him.
Yeah, it just shows how good he must have been at such a young age. And another one retired pretty early as well. Do you think that it's maybe down to that because he started so young?
I think it would, but he had bad knee, mate. He would train, and he'd have to have like fluid taken out of his knee, ridiculous amounts. So I'm not sure. I'm not really like sure on the injury, but it was a really bad knee injury. I'm not sure. You probably know more about, but a few players suffer with it. I think James Chester suffers with it now, where they can't train every day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like managers nowadays don't let you get away with that. It's like you train every day or you're not playing. Yeah. Like back in the day, you get away with it more. So I think he wanted to be able to play football with his son when he's 40, not be able to not walk because you've like played on and you've like totally demolished your knee. So I think it was more injury for him that stopped him playing. Yeah,
of course. Okay. Right, left back.
I think this was an easy one. Ashley Cole, England's maybe the world's greatest ever left back. He's up there, and to get a chance to play with him in England, even when I played against him for Villa against Chelsea, it was like chasing him down the right flank, left flank, because I played right midfield a lot. And just how good he was going forward and good defensively. I mean, he marked Ronaldo out of game, didn't he, for England? So for me, it was an easy one left back. There's no one anywhere near him.
No, I don't think anyone will argue with that. Probably the best left back of our generation for sure. Okay, then centre half.
So the first one I'm going to put in is John Terry, because I played with him for England. Then later on, I played with him at Aston Villa and played against him so many times. And just the all-round centre half, like even from watching him play for Chelsea during his career, he just like ping balls to opposite full-backs, both feet. He'd get the ball and like ping it to Bosingwa with his left foot, no effort. Then do the same with his right foot. Then his reading of the game, his leadership, and the amount of trophies he won. And I think to keep going as long as he did when he come to Aston Villa and still show that same hunger. And I think John Terry has to be in there, 1,000%.
Yeah, no arguments for that. I was just going to ask on the John Terry one, how did you find? Because throughout your career, I think you find, even myself, when you play with players, play against players, and then you play with them, you probably appreciate them more. Like, how did you find the difference in playing against him and playing with him?
Yeah, so obviously, but when he comes to Villa, he wasn't at his peak. He was a lot older, so he slowed down a lot. But you could still see from playing with him, like just his leadership, his will to win, he's putting his body in the way. His technique was like top draw. He'd like head tennis. We'd play in the changing room. He'd be the winner. Just so like technical that you don't realise. And just that really, just like just what I thought he would like when I played against him. He was always aggressive, read the game the best, didn't he? So playing with him against him was similar.
Cool. Okay, and who partners him, mate, at the back there?
I've given this one that some people will probably be like, really, but for me, Martin Larsson.
Yeah.
I mean, when I made my debut, he was already at the club, and he had the injury hit career all through his career. I think at AC Milan before he come to Villa. Yeah. But he was just so like, I don't know, I'd say so aggressive. When we done set pieces, it was Martin Larsson heads it. No one else heads the ball. Do you know, like even defending corners, It was like the tackles were Martin Larson stands in the middle of the 6-yard box, and he comes and heads it clear. Then the opposite set pieces, he'd always score. He'd always win headers. It was aggressive, like put his heart on his sleeve. And the only regret for him, I think, who look back, is that like he had so many injuries. You know, he had a really bad knee. He couldn't train all week.
Yeah.
So like, I reckon if he could have had a free career, he would have been one of the best defenders going, because he had speed as well. You know.
Yeah.
So he had to be in there. Great defender.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think you probably answered my question. You probably answered my question there. I was going to say, like, on him, as he, how close was he to being sort of in the same bracket as your Terrys and your Ferdinands and people like that?
I think he 100% would have been close, because, but you don't know what he was feeling. You know, like even when he had the 2-3 years good at Villa, he was in pain. He was not training. He had treatment all week to play on a Saturday. So maybe we never seen the 100% fit Martin Larson. You know, maybe if he was 100%, I think 100% he would have been like one of the best defenders out there, because he was so big, tall. He had the biggest head in football. So he headed every ball away, and he was quick, aggressive. He was okay on the ball. So I think 100% he would have been one of the top defenders for sure.
Perfect, mate. Right, okay. Now this is where it gets tricky, your team, because I don't know where you're going to go from here, mate, with what the 6 you've given me, to be honest.
I know. I think I might just give them all a free roll. Yes.
6 free rolls.
6 free rolls in there. So as a sitter, I'm going to go Petrov.
Okay.
So I'm going to go Petrov as the number 6 sitting. And I think Petrov was the first name on the team sheet. I mean, when he come to Villa, I'd recognise his name from Celtic. And you don't realise how many years he was at Celtic before he comes to Villa. He'd won everything at Celtic. And then to come to Villa with the same hunger, you know, he's the most hard-working midfielder out there. Technique, like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I still play with him now. We play 6-a-sides.
Really?
With a few minutes. And, like, I can't get a win. I can't buy a win against this team. He's so, like, you know, when someone just, like, runs a game and he's still doing running games in 6-a-sides. It's not like he starts, you know, like, just runs a game.
Yeah.
Hard to explain. Like, you just can't get near him. He's just, like, always got the flicks, the megs, just so technically, like, gifted. So he had to be in there. He's one of the best midfielders I played with for sure.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean there. Controlling the tempo of the game. To be fair, mate, your place is no good in the 6-a-side, though, is it? That's the thing. That's the difference.
Hey, honestly, mate, I'm trying to knock it. I'm trying to knock it down the channel. I'm hitting the fence. You know what I mean? I think I need 11-a-side to get more space, not 6-a-side.
That's it, mate.
Definitely.
I was just going to ask on Petrov, because I know you're very close with him there, and you mentioned that you still play with him. I suppose that must have been a real eye opener for you guys when you was obviously at the club when he announced, or it came out that he had leukemia, and he was struggling with that illness. I mean, can you remember much about that situation?
Yeah, you know what? I remember it was a game against Arsenal away, and he was struggling in the game, and I remember at half time he took his top off, he was dripping with sweat, and the manager said to him, "What's up with your stand? You know, you're not being yourself." He's like, I don't know, I just can't run. Then I think he had some tests after the game, just some random tests, and then he got the results back, and I think we were all in shock. I mean, I was in tears, because just to know that someone who's the most hardworking, the least body fat, like when you look at someone, you like, there's no way you could get something wrong with him. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone just in immaculate shape, works hard, eats right, drinks the right fluids, and it was an eye opener to think that, like, if he can get leukemia, then anyone can get it. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're the fittest person or the most unhealthy person. If it's your turn to get it, you're getting it. That was the eye opener for me, of like, you never know what's around the corner, you know. And we all took it badly, and we were just happy that he got a full recovery from it, and now he's fine.
Yeah, no, like you say, it must have been a sort of real eye-opener for you guys, and yeah, lucky that he
So,
had you guys to support him. Right, okay, yeah, where are you going next for the midfield?
so I'm gonna go. Yeah, you tell me. I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna go. Beckham on the right.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go David Beckham on the right wing.
Yeah.
I was lucky to play with him. I remember I started against Spain away, and I think Beckham come on at half time. If I check it, and
Okay.
I remember him coming up to me at half time when we were about to come out, and he says, come on," and I was just like, it's Beckham. Do you know what I mean? You're like, all right, sorry. Do you know what I mean? Like, is that sort of like
Yeah.
high profile superstar that you're like, all right, I'm going to work harder now because Beckham sort of give me a little telling off. Do you know what I mean? So, but to play with Beckham is like a dream come true, like me
Yeah.
being
Cool.
a young kid watching Beckham at Man United, do you know what I mean? And then getting to like see his career, going to Real Madrid, etc. And like
Yeah.
one of England's best ever players for sure, he's twice bend them free kicks in when we
Yeah.
needed him. So just like he had to be in there, I just couldn't leave him out. He's
No.
one of England's best ever players, and he's an icon, isn't he? Forever,
Yeah.
lifetime
No.
icon.
For sure, mate. I was going to say it must have been a real pinch yourself moment lining up with David Beckham. And I was going to ask, what was he like away from the pitch, like during them camps? Like, good guy.
You know what, mate? You would like sit in the dining room, and he'd be right in the middle, and he'd be on his writing stuff in his diary.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't one that was really like talkative. He was more like, I'm just going to keep myself to myself. Maybe that was his personality.
Yeah.
Maybe he only opened up to like the Nevilles, the Rios. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ones from Man United.
We felt more
But
comfortable with. Yeah.
yeah, but I never tried to speak to him because
No.
during that era, I was like, wow, that's Beckham, that's Ferdinand, that's Terry, that's Gerrard, that's Lampard. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they were sort of like, I don't know. At England's squad at the moment, they're all equal, aren't they? Sort of thing. No one's like
Yeah.
elite.
Yeah.
Back then, they were elite, mate. They were like, Beckham is like an elite star. Like,
Yeah.
don't even try to talk to him. He might just blank you. That was the feeling I had. And like, do you know what I mean? I reckon you'd probably be the same, wouldn't you? You think,
Yeah.
like, that's Beckham. I don't even know what to say to him. What sort of tone to speak to him? Like, let me just like leave him, let him be. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was good. And like in training, just like every time he got the ball, goal, top corner, bottom corner, any corner, keeper didn't even dive. Like,
Yeah.
someone to be so precise was like incredible.
Yeah. No, for sure. Right, where do we go next? Come on,
So I'm
Gaffer.
gonna
Come on,
go.
Gaffer. Where are we going next?
I know, man. I know,
You've got
mate.
to put this 4-6 formation in action, mate. Come on.
I know. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm
Go
gonna
on.
put Gareth Barry on the left wing,
Right.
and I'm doing that because people don't realise how many games he played left wing for Aston Villa.
Okay.
So because
Cool.
people probably look at his career, maybe his last couple of seasons at Aston Villa, then Man City,
Man
Everton.
City. Yeah.
But at Aston Villa, his early days, he played a lot as a left winger,
Yeah.
and also it gives me space for my centre mids. But he was like, don't know what to say. Like, I thought I had a higher number of games for Aston Villa at 391, but I
Yeah.
think Barry's on 400 and something for Aston Villa alone.
Yeah.
Never mind what he
And
got
he's
for
gone
Man
on.
City, for Everton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for someone to play still at 39 years,
Mm.
like, I watched a game on Sky the other night, and it was 2002. And I'm thinking, how can he still be playing in 2020? Do you know what I mean? It just shows how, like, committed he is to stay at the top as long as possible and still be playing at this age. And never lost the ball, always play forward, always look for the ball to feet or in behind. He was like the perfect midfielder to play with, for especially for like me, with the runs that I used to make, in behind.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah. No, for sure. No arguments with that. I think the career he's had, like you say, still going strong. Go on then,
Yeah.
midfielders time. This is when you can really fill your boots now. The three midfielders. Who we got?
So I'm gonna play with two.
Oh, you got two in front of Petrov, haven't you? You got two in front of Petrov.
Yeah, yeah. So two in front. So they're going to be like midfielders, but like attacking midfielders. You know, I don't want to be defensive. I like attacking football. Yeah, I like a lot of attacking football. But the first one I'm going to put on there on the right side is Fabian Delph. So the right side of the 210s, because when he first come to Villa, he was only young. You know, he hadn't developed yet. But to see the transition in his career, especially the 2 seasons he had at Aston Villa before he went to Man City, was incredible. Like, I've not seen a midfielder be able to go box to box. You know, when you get their midfielders, centre midfielders that, like, they've got the Cruyff turns, but they've got the chains of pace. So if you're a midfielder, it's a nightmare to play against. He was one of them. Like, he had so much skill, technique, and he could, like, sprint past his midfield opponent, you know, and he could score goals, he could assist. So for me, he had to be in there, and for what he's achieved, you know, he's won 2 Premier League titles at Man City. Now he's at Everton, still playing, you know, and he's just been a big feature with England as well. He's got a lot of England caps, and just a great lad as well. And I think he's probably the number 1 player I've ever played with for winning mentality and aggression.
Yeah,
he's the sort of player that would like go and kick the manager's door down if something weren't right. Literally kick it down.
Yeah,
I've never met an angry guy, aggressive guy. If you lost the game, he'd come in and shout at anyone who didn't do their job. He didn't track a runner. You know them like characters that you need in the changing room. If you know you didn't track your runner and they scored, you know what's going to happen when you get in that changing room.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think because he could fight as well, he had that to back it as well. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
He's quite a little like, he's got like a little pit bull from Leeds.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, but for me, like, he had to be in there. Great player and great mindset as well. You know, never goes partying, never does the wrong things, never in the press. You know, there's that right mind frame that gets you to the top, isn't it? Yeah, that's what he's got.
Of course, yeah. So you couldn't influence him to come on a night out with him, basically, no?
No. I've tried. He wouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, big Fabian Delph fan, and I think you sort of answered my questions there already, because I was going to say, I don't know if you've watched the Manchester City documentary on Amazon, but when he was in that, you could see that he was a leader in that. You know, he was in the dressing room.
And people wouldn't have expected that, would they? With the
probably not unless they see that or listen to you there. They, you know, you don't really know that.
He wouldn't care if it was Messi or Ronaldo. If he's got something to say, he's saying it to them. He's shouting at them. He don't give a damn about that. He'll speak his mind. It don't matter who it is. If it's Pep or Ferguson, he would speak his mind if he has something to say. He's got like that mentality, which is good.
Cool. Yeah, no problems with that. So you can be a bit of a leader for you in your team. You can swear, by the way, Gab, if you want anyway. So. Right, who goes alongside him in midfield there in front of Petrov?
So I'm going to give it to Jack Grealish. For me, like, I remember his first training session. He come and train with us, and
really?
I was thinking, who's this little shit with his socks down? He's like, he's calm now. You know, like that old school mentality of like, who does this kid think he is? 17-year-old. And like, he had his hands on his hips. He had that swag already of like, oh no, I'm good. You know, like Rui Costa used to like look back in the day. And just seeing him progress, to be honest, from that like little boy to like the man he is today, like the progression. Honestly, I've never seen a player in training that you can't get the ball off. Like, you could be the quickest defender, the most aggressive defender. You're not getting the ball off him. He just drifts past players like Iniesta did. You know, like prime Iniesta.
Yeah.
He like drifts like that, like so quick running with the ball, you know, and so like quick with his turns and his body shape and his balance. And I think the future holds anything he wants. He could play for any club, Real Madrid, PSG, Barcelona, anyone he wants. Yeah. I think he's that good. I think he's started to show people in the Premier League, you know. He's England's England number 10s. He's at the highest for stats. And just a great player. And I think he had to be my team. You know, that I played with some great players, but for me, like, I would have loved to have played with him in my prime. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was unbelievable. Yeah, so he has to be in there.
No, of course. And like you mentioned all them clubs there, I hope it's Man United where he ends up, to be honest, man.
Yeah, you know what? As much as I love him to stay at Villa, I think that's the club that I could see him going to if he was going to go to one. You know, like, it sort of looks like it would probably suit him. But then you've got Fernandes, you've got Pogba. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, where is he going to fit in that he's going to play? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think, like, I'm with you. I think he could fit into any team, and I think he's, you mentioned it there as well. He's a bit of a throwback. I mean, I actually went to the playoff final against Derby, and I couldn't believe how big he was. Like, I thought he was just like a bit of a smaller player, but he's a unit, you know.
He's 6 foot. He's 6 foot.
His legs,
and
well.
he's got like the right frame, upper body for like a number 10. He's not muscly, but his lower half is like, bloody hell. It's like looking at Mika Richards' lower half. You know, like his thighs, his calves. So I think, like, for a number 10, he's probably got the perfect shape. You know.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so on that, what do you think will? I know you said you think you're not sure what will happen with him, but if you probably, similar to yourself, you come through at Aston Villa there, and I'm sure I think you said it before that you had chances to leave. What would you now say to someone like Jack Grealish if you had the chance? Stay or leave?
It's hard because I'm a Villa fan, so I'll say stay.
Yeah.
But as a football fan, it's hard, isn't it? Like, knowing him, he's probably got the goals of playing Champions League, the goals of playing for England, the goals of playing in a Premier League winning team. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want to look back, don't you, sometimes, and like not think, you know what, I stayed and I should have went because I would have won more trophies. So it is a hard one. But as a Villa fan, I love him to stay. But if Man United, Man City, these teams come calling, you can't turn it down. I think it was different for me at my time because Villa were a top team and we were fighting for top 4. You know, we weren't the Villa team of now. The Villa team of now is not the same team we had. So it's a different scenario for him. But yeah, I think there's so many agents involved now and stuff as well. Sometimes you can't turn down a move. Your agent won't let you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, of course.
So it would be interesting to see what happens. But you never know with this virus that's happened. Have clubs got the same amount of money to spend? Yeah. So you don't know what the circumstances are there.
No, of course. Before we complete your team and go on to your false 9, your famous false 9 that I've been texting you about, what I was going to ask, you mentioned there that you had you was probably maybe close to leaving or you had chances to leave. How close did it come for you, Gabby? Did it ever come really close?
You know what? No, it wasn't really close. So, for instance, it was the year Martin O'Neill left, and Spurs were interested, and we all know Harry Redknapp was a dodgy dealer.
Yeah.
So he got his one of his dodgy dealers to get in touch with my agent, and what they try to do sometimes, clubs, is sort out the personal details first, like wages, etc., before they put the bid in. Does that make sense? They don't want to put the bid in and then, okay, but he wants 600 grand a week.
Yeah, exactly.
We can only give him 10 grand. Do you know what I mean? So they want to sort that out first before they put the bid in. Yeah, so when we were speaking to them, it was more like, Spurs, Villa, is there any difference at that time?
At that time, yeah.
We were both fighting for top 4. So me and my agent says, move to London. They're offering the same money that you're on.
Yeah.
They've got Pavlyuchenko, Keane, Defoe, whatever, Berbatov, all these players. Why are you going to leave a club which you're a Villa fan? You play every week. You get into England squads to go to London to a team that's the same talent as Villa. Yeah. So it just didn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? What's the point moving sideways? And if I'd moved sideways then, I probably would have been maybe 4th or 5th choice and not played.
Yeah,
so it was like a no-brainer to not go. So, I turned them down.
Yeah, okay. So that was probably the closest it came then, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
For sure, like what you said there in terms of, the personal side, I think it's just the biggest non-secret in football, isn't it? That happens, but not everyone admits it. But listen, I think to be fair, mate, it sounded like you got enough trouble in Birmingham, so I don't think London you'd have been able to handle London.
Nah, not them bright lights, mate.
Them bright lights, mate. They would have been no good for you.
I would have had a bloody a bloody hotel room for like 5 years. I'd have made there if I'd signed for Spurs. Jesus, no chance.
That's it, mate.
Dangerous place.
Who completes your 11? Who's your famous false nine? I mean, I know who it is, but let's let the fans know.
So I did play with a lot of great strikers, and they're unfortunate to be left out. But this player couldn't be left out. He was like joint first with Petrov on my list. Like Aston Young, for me, like if you showed a 10-year-old videos of Aston Young at Villa, they'd be like, "Wow, he was that good." Do you know, like people got quick to forget how good he was. Yeah, when he went to Man United, he didn't play in the position that he played at Villa, so like he didn't get the best Aston Young there. Do you know what I mean? He was playing left back, right back. You know what I mean? He's a winger. He's a number 10. What he was doing at Aston Villa was crazy. He was like, he'd have chalk on his boots on the left wing. Downing, Milner, Barry, Petrov would all fire the ball across, like cross-field pass. It just first touch perfect. Get the defender one-on-one all the time. The amount of chops he'd do, I've never seen anything like it. He's the creator of chops. He'd chop left, chop right, defenders on the floor. Then he'd put the perfect crossing for me or Carew to get a goal. The amount of assists he got me. I used to always love making that left channel run. Yeah. So when he got the ball, I knew it was like on your get ready, go. On your marks, get set, go. When he got the ball, so he'd always put that perfect ball over the top. I'd get through, maybe sometimes score, sometimes be wide. So I'd pass it back to him. He'd go and do his stuff and score. So the relationship we had was amazing. He got me so many assists. I got him a lot of assists as well, and just a great player. And to be at Inter Milan at 34, 35-year-old just shows what a career he's had. He's crazy. And I think he'll definitely be one of them that plays till 38, 39 for sure. Yeah. But an outstanding player, a great laugh off the field. Me and him were like the naughty ones, pranking everyone. You know what I mean? He had great banter as well. Just like the perfect player and perfect guy off the pitch as well. Amazing.
Yeah. Sure. No, I think it's interesting what you say there about people probably forget how good he was because, like you mentioned at the start of the interview, I think a lot of people have short memories in football, and a lot of people will remember him as a fullback. I think because he played in the World Cup just recently at left back. Yeah. But people will actually forget how good he was at Villa that time when he was going down.
It was unbelievable, mate. Like I've never seen a finisher like it either. One of the best finishers I've ever seen. Like, do you know what I mean? He had that whip of them guys who just whip it into the corner. Like, incredible player.
For sure. Right, listen, mate. I know I've poked fun at your team recently via WhatsApp because of the lack of centre forwards. But in all seriousness, I'm sure that'll work with all the great players you've got in there. They can just be nice and fluid in there, can't it?
Well, you can see the runs, can't you? The Delph, Grealish, the Beckham finding the runs. Little 1-2s.
That's it, mate. That's it. Right, okay then. That's great. The team's done now. It'd be criminal of me to have you on, Gab, without asking you a few questions. Got some fun ones and got some serious ones for got some fun ones for the fans and got some serious ones for the youngsters at home. So we'll go through them if you don't mind, mate.
Yeah, no problems.
Okay then, right. We spoke about players you played with there. What about in terms of players you have played against? Who sticks out?
Sorry, mate. Someone phones you, but you come through on the phone, doesn't it?
No problem. Yeah, what about players you played against, mate? Anyone stick out?
It's got to be Thierry Henry. Yeah. Incredible. Yeah. Incredible, mate. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Incredible, like, speed, finisher, everything. For me, the best Premier League striker of all time, my opinion. People disagree with me, but I used to be in awe of him as well as a kid. He was like the main guy who I watched, and to get a chance to play against him and see this 6'3" guy, long strides, quick, left foot, right foot, skills. You know, it's like everything you could want in a player.
Yeah.
He had. He was incredible to play with. To play against. The likes of Drogba, like Ronaldo. You know, just like these guys were superstars.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so big that like Aston Villa could go to them places and get results against these sort of like elite stars. You know,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I was going to say, because you actually had a good record against playing against the top teams when you was at Villa, didn't you?
Yeah, I didn't do too bad, to be fair, against them teams.
Okay, then, yeah, we'll go back to the sort of start of your career then. Coming through Aston Villa, I remember seeing interviews and stuff when I think you went on a couple of loan spells to Watford and Sheffield Wednesday, and I think you may have even said that, you know, they didn't quite necessarily work out. Then you come back and you managed to get yourself in Villa's first team. Do you remember much about that sort of period there coming through?
Yeah, so I went on loans to Watford and Sheffield Wednesday, and I was homesick like you wouldn't believe.
Really?
Like, so homesick. That affected me on the pitch. I felt like a little boy in a man's world, you know. I didn't feel like I was ready for like men's football. I mean, even playing in front of all the fans affected me, you know. Like, I just think I wasn't ready.
Okay.
You know, I think sometimes 18 can be a good time to go on loan, but some players it can be too soon, you know.
Yeah.
And I think at that time it was too soon for me. And I remember coming back from the loans and like I hadn't played. No, I played, I hadn't scored. I was in the reserves at Sheffield Wednesday on loan. Do you know what I mean? Which is like the worst possible loan you have. Do you know what I mean? I was playing reserve team football.
Yeah, of course.
So I'll come back to Villa. And as I say in football, you know, you always need that bit of luck.
Yeah.
And my bit of luck was 3 strikers for Villa were injured or ill.
Yeah.
So basically, David O'Leary asked the reserve team manager who's next in the pecking order, basically. So he threw my name in. I went and trained with the first team for 2 days and then made my debut. And I still say today, if we lost 4-1 to Everton, a great Everton team, we got battered, mate, battered.
Yeah.
And I scored. And I still say today, if I didn't score, I would have been back in the reserves because the other players come back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have had the career I had. But because I scored and I was a 19-year-old who scored on his debut in the Premier League, you sort of stand out.
Yeah.
It's like the press are like, oh, okay, that's a story. Like the Villa fans are like, oh, 19-year-old that scored in his debut, so you can't be ignored then. So O'Leary couldn't throw me back in the reserve because you can't be ignored when you score in your debut. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's always that bit of luck of like you need in football, and that's what I had.
No, for sure, and I think it's great and it's refreshing to get your honesty on that because, you know, a lot of people, youngsters, and that's the reason why I'm doing this is to try and make them realise that sometimes the margins are not as big as you think because, you know, like I say, you're on 1 minute you're on loan at Sheffield Wednesday, not getting a game in the Championship. The next minute you're coming back and you get a chance at Aston Villa. So
you always see it, though. Yeah, you see like with like other players, you always see that like you get that chance when there's injuries. Players are always going to get injured. So when they're injured, that's when you might get your chance, and you got to take it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what I did. I did have the best of games, but I scored. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I took my chance. It's like an audition. I took it, and if you, I think you'll always get that chance one time in your life. You know?
Yeah. No,
yeah, definitely.
Sure. And then so also then we move on. Your first full season, the next season goes really well. I think you had 42 appearances, 10 goals, double figures. Second full season, 40 appearances, 11 goals. So you know you're really establishing yourself in the Villa team there. And then in the third season, you're actually playing in the UEFA Cup. You get a hat trick against Manchester City at Villa Park. Still the third fastest hat trick in Premier League history, actually, as well. Just talk me through that then, really, just establishing yourself then. You talked about, you know, he was a little bit maybe off the pace and wasn't quite ready, but then all of a sudden 2 seasons later you're established.
So you see, like, for the rest of that season under O'Leary, I was just on the bench coming on, you know, like, he didn't really fancy me. Then he got sacked at the end of the season, so Martin O'Neill come in, and he loved me straight away, you know, and I think
that helped.
From day one of pre-season, I was always going to be in his plans, and he just loved youth and pace, you know.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, every game getting better and better. You know, like, learning off the players I was playing against as well.
Just gradually improving.
Learning off the players. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was learning off the players I was playing against. Oh, wow, they do that. Oh, they let you through their legs, and they do 1-2s. And do you know, like, I was not nowhere near the finished article, but I was just learning loads. And, like, I was just improving year by year, you know, by game, playing against world superstars in the Premier League. You're gonna.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You've got to adapt to different positions that you played as well. Like, I was playing right wing, left wing, number 10, striker. So season by season, I was just improving. I was filling out more. You know, I was this skinny little 5'9" boy. Then by 2010, I was like more muscly, like 6 foot. Do you know what I mean? I was like getting stronger and like filling out more. So I just thought that, like, year by year, just learning more, practicing a lot more. You know, I'd always practice to be able to use my left foot. So I scored a lot of goals in my left foot because I knew that the Premier League, you've got to be both footed, you know. You can't always go on your right foot when you're through. So my left foot, I'd always practice it, you know, get better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just always knew that, like, I have to, you can't just be one-footed in the Premier League. You've got to be both-footed, you know. You can't, if chances come on your left foot, you're going to have to take it with your left foot.
Yeah.
So, like, just practice a lot, really, and you get more confidence of playing in front of 40,000 every week. You know, you get used to it. You don't get nervous anymore. It's like, you know, you're not nervous one bit. The fans don't bother you. So it's just experience, you know. Like they say, experience is like the key, isn't it? And that's what it was really with me. And come 2010 season, I think I got my best season for goals. I just felt like the complete player there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure, and I think, you know, that's, again, I think it's great. I love your honesty and your modesty, really, because, you know, a lot of these youngsters that I coach and I'm mentoring, they think straight away that, you know, everyone's got to be like Wayne Rooney or Michael Owen and burst on the scene at 18, and it's all comfortable for them, and that's the way it works, and you're meant to be there. But, you know, someone like yourself had a fantastic career, and you've had to work it, and you've had to gradually get better and improve. You know.
It doesn't always work like that, does it? You might be the 23-year-old spotted at Sunday League. You know what I mean? It doesn't really always like work out perfectly, like you says, the Rooney, Owens.
Yeah.
And I think, like, any advice to youngsters out there is that you just gotta, like, dig in. Do you know what I mean? You gotta like always keep wanting to improve and, like, not take your place for granted, because you get a lot of youngsters that they'll burst onto the scene, and then 2 years later they're in the lower leagues because they're at the Premier League clubs but got comfortable because they've had one okay season. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be bang at it every season, otherwise. And I bet there's a lot of examples, isn't there, of a lot of players that's happened to.
Of course.
So definitely something I've got to keep working on.
Definitely, mate. And talk us through anyway that the third fastest hat trick in Premier League history, and it was a perfect hat trick as well. So you mentioned your left foot there. Can you remember much about that? I think it was against Manchester City at Aston Villa. Villa Park,
Mate, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was like the first game of the season, and I used to hate them games because they're in August, so it's like hot.
Yeah.
You know them hot games, mate, where you're like, oh, it's like today. It's like similar to today. It's like 25 degrees outside, 3 o'clock. You're like, oh my god, we're going to be blowing today. Do you know what I mean? The pace of the game slow. I was playing against my good friend Michael Richards, and honestly, I couldn't get any change out of him. No change whatsoever. Remember coming at half time thinking, like, he's got me in my pocket here because he's so quick and strong. I couldn't get past it. And I always say it, I got a hat trick, but I was shit. Do you know what I mean? That's me being truthful. I was crap, and that's what happens sometimes. You can have the best game of your life and not score. Then you can have a rubbish game and score. And that's what happened to me. I was just in the right place at the right time for the first 2 goals. Then the third goal I ran through and finished. But it was more about being in the right place at the right time, not really that I had a good game. And you need that bit of luck as well, like I said. And that just set me off for the season, you know. It was like a striker start the season is like, just get a goal. Go 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, and you haven't scored. It's like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
the pressure on your case.
Money in the bank, Patrick.
Yeah, so once you can get that first goal in a new season, you're buzzing.
Yeah.
It sets you off then. Do you know what I mean? It's like a weight off your shoulders.
Of course.
So to get a hat trick was like, wow, I'm probably the top goal scorer in the Premier League for like first weekend. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was unbelievable experience, and just to like little things to like look back on when you're older.
Yeah.
So like scored a hat trick,
yeah.
got the ball signed in my dad's house.
Lovely.
Do you know what I mean? Like played for England, got the shirt signed in my dad's house, got a player of the month.
Yeah.
Premier League player of the month, which is a massive thing for me as
yeah.
well. That's in my dad's house. You know, like them little things, those things that people can't take away from me. You know,
of course, definitely.
It's probably something I never thought I'd do in the Premier League to like score a hat trick.
Yeah,
crazy to be honest. Do you know what I mean? Not many players do it, do they? From the big boys.
No, exactly, mate. And like I say, hats off to you there. And especially, I think as well now because Manchester City have gone on to be such a powerhouse, you can always just tell the kids, it was against Man City. They don't need to know it weren't as good defenders there.
Exactly. Yeah, Aguero played, Company played, definitely.
That's what I mean. I went past Silva on the first.
You know what? Actually, Company did play.
Oh, did he play?
You know what? Company did play actually.
So
he played centre mid.
I'm doing you this service there then.
Yeah. You know what though? He was a centre mid though then, wasn't he?
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't play centre back at the start. Yeah, he was centre mid. Yeah.
That's it, mate. Well, listen, I always think it's always good to add a bit of VAT to a story anyway. Like I went past Silva for the third goal and all that sort of thing. It'd be nice for the kids.
100%. Then I think Edison for the hat trick. Definitely. I'll be throwing that in there.
Exactly that, mate. Right, yes, you mentioned it. Want to talk about that next, really. Tally's in well. The England call up. Remember much about it and how it come about, and was it talked about? And do you remember much about your call up and your debut?
Yeah, I can't remember much about the call up, but I just remember at that time we had, I think Downing might have been there. Downing, Milner, Young, Barry. Do you know, like, the core of the team was Villa. We had like 5 in squad, so we was all doing well in the season. So I was buzzing with the call up, and just remember like going because the game was against Germany, so I was thinking like, geez, this is the arch enemy. I grew up watching Euro '96, thinking like, we don't like Germany, basically. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to get that call up, and then an hour and a half before kickoff, Capello named the team, and I didn't have one idea I was going to start.
Really?
I was thinking my first call up, I'll just be on the bench, you know, like the other stars would start, and then he's called out the team and he's got Agbonlahor. I was like, wow, that's when it really hit me of like, you're starting against Germany. The whole English population will be like on your back if you don't perform, because this is Germany. We don't lose to Germany anymore. Do you know what I mean? We have to like change it over. Yeah. So to play, and I think I had a quite decent game, but we won the game as well. So to make the day, but I was nervous, mate. It was like one of them atmospheres away to Germany. The atmosphere was like, whoa. So playing with these superstars, honestly, it was like something I'll never forget, and it was definitely a nerve-wracking experience for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. How was he, Capello? What was he like?
It was good. I can never say anything bad about him because he gave me my caps, but it wasn't what I was used to. Yeah. Very strict.
Yeah.
So, for instance, my day, I come down in the morning to breakfast, and I was wearing flip-flops. He called me over. He says, Agbonlahor, no, up. I've gone like, what do you mean? Gaffer, what do you mean? He's like, no, trainers, up. All the boys in the canteen were pissing themselves because they haven't given me a heads up. You wouldn't know no different, would you? The way we've been brought up is like, rest your feet and get air to your feet, wouldn't you? So you wear flip-flops. I was like, oh my God. It's like being back at school here. I had to go upstairs, get my flip-flops on, get my trainers on, come back down. And he's like, good. Then there was no butter, no tomato ketchup. And I'm just like, being brought up as an English lad, like, mate, we can't have bread without butter. What are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? We can't have like chicken without ketchup.
Believe it or not, mate, I know exactly what you mean, because I had Paolo Di Canio. It must be an Italian thing. I had him as my manager, so it must be the same thing. Mate,
if he comes to I would have walked out, mate, because like, I heard what he was like. And like, it's just, I understand the way they want you to be more healthy and your body fat down and all that, but come on.
Yeah.
You can't come to England and say you can't have ketchup or butter.
Nah,
Come on,
nah,
what's butter going to do on a bit of bread?
nah. I was going
But
to
all
ask
the boys would just sleep.
on a more serious note on your England career. You only had 3 caps, which when I was doing my research, I was actually quite surprised about, and also the fact that 2 of your caps were against Germany and Spain. So it was a bit of a tough 3 games you had.
Yeah.
Are you? What I was going to ask was, do you think you should have played more for England, and do you know maybe why you didn't?
1,000%. But
Yeah.
I was called up to 16 squads. So
Yeah.
for me, it was I pulled out of a lot of squads with injuries. I
Yeah.
said this the other day. I put club before country,
Yeah.
basically. So sometimes I'd get a knock on the weekend game. England would call you up and you'd have to go 2 days later. I'd go and I'd be like, you know what?
Yeah.
We're chasing top 4.
Yeah.
I'm not going to risk my hamstring that's tight or ankle that's swollen to go away with England for 10 days. And you got Rooney, Owen, you got all these different strikers. I'm thinking, am I going to even play?
Yeah.
Do I want to go away for 10 days and get a chance to come on for 5 minutes at the end?
Yeah.
When I look back, maybe I was wrong because, yeah, you would have got more caps. But at the time, I was thinking, I could have 10 days of treatment at Villa, relax,
Yeah.
maybe nick a little trip to Dubai. Do you know what I mean? a little 5 days to Dubai. So, like, I don't know. And I didn't I had kids as well. I didn't really want to be like, I don't know, Bulgaria away or Kosovo away. And, you know,
Yeah.
like, I just didn't like being away from home, to be honest. So it was like, any little knock, I'd be like, you know what? That's me. I'm out.
Yeah, no, of course. No, listen,
So
I
for
think
me,
that's understandable, and I think I think Villa fans will be pleased about that. That the loyalty that you're showing to your club there, and like I say, on a
I
more
think it's different if I was guaranteed to start,
yeah,
it would be a different story. Do you know, if I was Rooney and stuff, like them boys would never miss a game because they knew they were getting a cap.
yeah,
I remember I went to Trinidad and Tobago the summer before I made my debut. Trinidad and Tobago, after the season had finished for like a friendly, didn't play, didn't even get on. I was
no,
fuming. I was like,
yeah,
hang on a second. My mates are in Vegas. I'm, I'm in flipping Trinidad, and I'm not even getting on. Like, you're joking me. Like like a week trip. So like that sort of stayed with me for the whole time of
yeah, of
like,
course,
yeah, I love playing for my country. It's a big thing, but I'd rather like have the days off,
yeah,
rest up for the next game coming for Villa.
yeah,
And like that did cost me on the caps because people do say to me as well, like 3 caps, like you were on
yeah,
fire for like 4 or 5 seasons. You should have got more. But mostly it's my fault for pulling out of squads. So it is what it is. As long as I'm not a 1 cap wonder, I think
no.
I'll get away free. So
Nah, listen, mate. I think you're a better man than me, mate. I'm the same as you. I think I'd rather be round Blue Marlin than on the subs bench in Kosovo all day long.
my mindset as well, which is, but I said it on a podcast I've done before. Like everyone's different, aren't they? Like
Yeah,
not everyone's like Harry Kane and James Milner, who are like
yeah, of course.
go home and have to eat the right food and drink the right water and the right juices. Some of us are just normal lads that want to be 21 and be out partying every time that they can get a chance. That was me all through my career, a party boy. And
Yeah,
when I look back, do I have regrets? Not really, no. It's
no,
your main years, isn't it?
yeah,
20 to 30 are your years of like enjoying yourself. So that was what my mindset of like, I'm going to work hard, play football, but also enjoy life. And
yeah,
that's why I was always, like you said, partying.
yeah. No problems with that, mate. Rather have a beer with you than James Milner, I think. Right, coming in. We'll have a serious one. Favourite manager?
Martin O'Neill, for
I
sure.
don't know. Cool.
Yeah, Martin O'Neill, a million miles. He was so, he was just like man management. He was like unbelievable, you know.
Yeah,
He'd always get the best out of players. And he treated me like his own son. You know what I mean? Just the way he treated me. Like I could go
yeah,
7, 8 games without scoring, start in the 9th game.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No other managers,
Bit of
another
security, that.
striker a
Yeah,
chance. Yeah, he's like, no, you're my son, basically. You're playing. So one of them managers that like just buzzes off you and, and hate you for it. So like even like Marlon Harewood, he'd come on and score, but not start the next game. Like don't matter what he did, I'm starting. Do you know what I mean?
You must have got a few son of shouts then, yeah? A few daddy shouts.
Yeah, I didn't care. Me and Youngie didn't care. Me and Youngie were like his sons, and we didn't care. We were just like, yeah, no problem. New deal next year, no problem. You just live off it. If Craig Gardner was the same,
little wing off the manager's office, isn't it, for you and Youngie?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, just like walk him whenever we want. But I think managers have them players, don't they, that are the favourites.
Yeah,
and I think like because we perform for him as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you look back at the stats and stuff, we're not not performing. We like perform for him, and like we got the success. Not success. We didn't win anything, but we got Villa up to a top 6 team. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And he was like obviously happy that the way we played for him.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, and then what about worst manager? It's got to be a bit of a close call between Di Matteo and Remi Garde, isn't it?
You know, if I could see both of them again, mate, I'm definitely eating one of them, 100%. They were like, you know what? Di Matteo is number one because of like what he did, but Remi Garde was just your typical French arrogant manager, like Houllier, like it was my worst nightmare. Really? Just arrogance on a different level of like just shaking his head during training, and we'd all say like, "Come and tell us, come and dig players out, come and say, oh, do this, come and say, oh, know what, you stay there on the pitch." None of that. Just shake his head at us during training, go in during a game, never come on the sideline and any instructions. Just like if he can be a manager in a Premier League club, then we all got a chance, mate. We can all do our coaching badges, and we all got a chance. Honestly, it's incredible.
Really? And, how quickly did you know that it weren't going to go right under him? Like, how quickly did you suss him out?
First 2 days, mate. Honestly, it's like the worst possible person you could have brought in to keep us up. It was miles off it. It come to the stage where we had games, and he just sat on the bench during the game. Just sat there all game, didn't get up. We're just waiting for his pay up.
Oh, that's a shame.
He had no enthusiasm in the team, just like no passion. It was like, mate, it was awful, the worst. Randy Lerner will look back and think, what did I do bringing this guy?
I know.
But Di Matteo as well. Di Matteo was miles off it as well, mate.
Really? That's crazy, isn't it? And I think he's got Champions League under his belt as well, but I think the players were more to thinking for that one.
Exactly. When you speak to the players that played for him, and that they said he had nothing, it was them that won it, not him.
No, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
But that's a shame. That's a shame. The Remi Garde one's a shame to think that someone would be like that to such a good club, big club like Aston Villa as well.
Exactly. Incredible, mate. But people are just arrogant. You get arrogant people, don't you, mate? That's the problem. Unfortunately, you got an arrogant manager, which just cost us. Yeah, we should have kept Tim Sherwood on, I believe, but Randy Lerner sacked him.
Yeah. What was he like, Tim Sherwood?
He's a typical Londoner. Like you boys are like you got confidence in you. You're confident lads. He was like your typical confident like Londoner, but I loved him. He was like he'd have his feet up in the canteen on the table, like just a chap. You can tell he was a chap back in the day.
Up here now.
Yeah, that's what he was like. But he was like, he's been there and done it, innit? He won the league with Blackburn. He had a great career. And he done well at Spurs for a season, didn't he? And he just like played his best team. He was like just good with the players. He was good, mate. And I'd still keep in touch with him now.
Oh, cool.
He was a great manager. Yeah, He was good, mate.
Cool. Right, last few before I let you go, mate. Now, you're self-acclaimed party boy, like a night out. Who would be your dream five-a-side team night out? You got four players to go along with you on a night out. Who are
they? What players I played with?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, footballers that you've come across or played with. Who would be your dream night out? Four to go with you.
I think Ashley Young.
Ashley's in,
John Carew.
Big
John Carew's in. Captain. He's captain.
Yeah. Skipper.
Yeah, he's 100% skipper. Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in. Myself, and I think last of all, I'd go Brad Guzan. He's a typical American pie American. You
Really?
know,
Yeah.
just like baggy jeans and just active and loud, and he'd
Yeah.
scream in the club. He'd be like, "Everyone shots! Everyone in the club shots!" You know, just like that typical
Yeah.
college American. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Loud,
To be honest,
like
though,
bloody
I've
sticker.
never had the Yanks down as good drinkers, mate. He'd probably be the first one I'm out of use for, surely.
Yeah. He is. He's the first one who's home, but like he gets that excited that like because he doesn't go out often. He gets that excited that like, do you know what I mean? He's
Brings
like
a
done
bit of
in an
early
hour.
value.
Yeah, early value. Then he's done by 1:30. He's home in bed, being
Yeah,
sick.
nah, for sure. A few Bud Lights too many for him. What about Big John Carew? What, he liked to bevy, yeah?
Bloody hell, man! I thought I was a party boy. He was just bloody. He, he honestly, his football was his second job, John.
Really?
He was amazing. You know, like
Yeah.
he made me laugh so much. He played in Birmingham, but brought an apartment in is it Chelsea Harbour, somewhere Harbour?
Yeah. Chelsea Harbour would have been probably helped before, yeah.
I think so. Yeah, and
Right.
we were all like, "You playing for Villa? Love London that much that he had a little flat in Birmingham, but his main house was in flat was in London. So he loved London that much that he'd get the train from London in the morning from Euston to Birmingham, stroll into training at like 9:30, have his poached eggs on toast, then train like 5 minutes after he finished his eggs on toast. You know, just like that, just like laid back attitude, like you wouldn't believe, mate.
Yeah,
Like lay, honestly, incredible. But
that's amazing.
he just loved the party and like, yeah, he just loved the London lifestyle of like woman and do you know what I mean? He loved it.
Nah, no problems with that. Sounds like a good five-side night out team. Okay, I'll tell you what, on that as well, I was doing some research and I saw that you were receiving death threats at one stage from One Direction fans. Now, what was you
Yeah,
doing? Out nicking all their birds or what?
that's it, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that they weren't happy with me, was they? Nah, I took him out in a charity game, but like I didn't really
Oh yeah,
mean to
what,
hurt
one
him.
of the lads. That's what I see. Yeah, it was was it that Lewis Tomlinson lad?
Yeah. So because it was like Twitter, people put it on there, and he was being sick afterwards. He had to come off. So obviously, all the 13-year-old girls were sending me death threats. It was hilarious. But all the lads were buzzing off me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All the men, but like all the women were, like give me death threats. But it was played up a bit, but it was
Yeah.
hilarious. It was hilarious. I think that's who must have drank the night before.
Nah, to be fair, mate, I've got you down as a bully now. I'll never see you smash Keane or Gerrard, mate. You're just taking it out on the band members, isn't you? Live it, absolute live
You're
it.
not wrong. You're not wrong. I'll leave that down.
Right, last few, mate. I promise you, last couple. You retired very, very early, in my opinion, from what I see. I don't see in terms of the injuries and stuff. If you don't mind me asking, why? How come? How come you retired so early? 2 years ago, I think it was.
So basically, my last season, I was picking up a lot of injuries. It was like calf, get back from calf, hamstring, get back from hamstring, calf again. And Villa weren't going to renew my deal, which I didn't deserve. Do you know what I mean? I hadn't played much that season.
Yeah.
And it come to the end of the season, and I thought, I just don't know. At that time, I thought, do I want to put another shirt on? Do I really want to play for another club? Am I going to give it what I'd give Villa? Do you know what I mean? Am I going to
Yeah.
let the club down? Then I spoke to my agent, and he was like, well, I've mentioned your name. By the time I finish your first name, the clubs have said no anyway.
Okay.
So like, we were both laughing, and he was like, basically, it's the off the field stuff, the partying,
Yeah.
in the papers for the wrong reasons, which is understandable. You know, if you're
Yeah.
a club, why are you going to give me some good wages, a
Yeah.
contract? I'm 31, probably I'm past my best. 31, off the field problems. You want to bring that into your club? So I'm a realist. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
understood. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to beg for a club. I've had a half-decent career. I've played for 13 years. If this is it, it's it. I'm not going to, no disrespect to the lower leagues, but because I played at Villa so much of my career, I didn't want to go down to like League Two and like League One, because I just thought like I just know I wouldn't have given it as like the 100%. Do you know what I mean? Like
the
my
respect
body
it
weren't the
deserves.
same.
Yeah, the respect it deserves. Yeah,
I weren't as quick. Do you know what I mean? I just knew that it's not. I said to my agent, them leagues aren't easy. I said like they're not easy leagues. I'm not going to go there and start scoring 30 goals. I could go there and not score in 20 games. Do you know what I mean? It don't work like that, does it?
No.
You've got fit players in them leagues, mate. Fit players, young players, experienced players. So I thought I don't want to go there and then like, you know what, Gabby's left after 10 games because he just heart wasn't in it. Do you know what I mean, mate?
Yeah,
so
you'd rather go out
that's
in
why
style, a bit more style in that.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, some players are different. Some players will play till the legs fall off in any league. You know what I mean? Because they love football. I love football, but maybe I didn't love football enough to play on and then end up at like, you know, like your local team in Solihull because you love football that much. Mine was like, I didn't want to be going and playing on a Tuesday night when Barcelona are playing the Champions League and I want to watch that and I'm getting like slaughtered by the fans. You know what I mean? You used to be good, now you're shy. You know them sort of chants. And then you just losing your head and getting sent off. I thought, like, I know what's going to happen. I know what fans are like. They're brutal, aren't they?
Yeah, no, of course. And to be fair, look, what about, you didn't fancy abroad though? I think they've got a team in Vegas now, mate. So you might have to come out of retirement.
You know what? I've heard there's a team in Ibiza. I'm just trying to sort out personal details. I just need a free accommodation. Free accommodation, that's it. But you know what? I had 4 kids.
Yeah.
So like at a time, 3 kids, now 4. But I couldn't move them with me. So don't want to go and play abroad and live on my own for like 2-3 years. Like, do you know what I mean, mate? Like, I just couldn't do it. It was never something that I'd ever have done. I was just like, love my kids that much. I want to be with them daily. I don't want to be like FaceTiming them. Do you know what I mean? And never seeing them. So it was something that, I didn't want to do.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, mind you, though, that's not really that's not too far of a trip. Paris Saint-Germain, maybe call up the team whose shirt you got on there. They might have you over there.
Well, I could just get the train, couldn't I, from London, couldn't I? I could stay in London. Where is it again? The one that goes through the Channel Tunnel.
Jump on the Eurostar, mate. You'll be over there in no time. You and Neymar.
I can stay in central London, live there, and then to get the Eurostar to trade it.
Borrow Big John Carew's apartment in Chelsea Harbour and you'll be over there, man.
Rent it off him.
That's it, mate. Right, okay. Plans for the future then for you, Gabby? What have you been up to since retiring and what are your plans for the future?
So I've completed my UEFA B. I was meant to complete my UEFA A next month, but it's been postponed because of the virus. So when that gets put back on, maybe August, September, I'll complete that. And I want to get into coaching, to be fair. I just want to be like, I want to give something back, you know, my experience and just help. You know what, I see myself as maybe like in an academy and just helping younger players. You know, like if I can get a player to become a professional, the amount of joy I'd get off that. Do you know, like helping them. Like the other day, an under-16 player in the Villa Academy DM'd me on Instagram, and he was asking me like, what should I do in this position against a defender? What should I do if the defender can't find me because he's not good enough? What should I stop making runs in behind and get the ball to feet? So like, I was giving him some advice, and like, that's what I want to do. Do you know what I mean, mate? Get my badges, get ready, and then give something back to the youth, and then hopefully help a few more players make it.
Yeah, no, for sure. That sounds good. And like I say, with the career that you had at Aston Villa, hope maybe that's where you'll find yourself. I was going to say, on that, just as a last question, really, because I do this at the end of all of my ones I've done so far. What if you could have one piece of advice? I know we've touched on a bit of advice for youngsters, but if you could have one piece of advice for youngsters coming through now, what would it be?
For me, leave the partying, leave the other side to a footballer's lifestyle. Forget about that. Do it because you love football and you want to make the best out of your career. Don't do it because you see the Ferraris, the Rolexes, the big houses, the holidays to Dubai. Do it because you love football, because if you do it for the wrong reasons, then you won't make it. I think a lot of young players will see, because of social media, they'll see what like footballers have and the lifestyle they live. So my advice would be like work hard because you love football and not for the wrong reasons, really.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, basically all the things that you love football for, really, then. Yeah?
Do the opposite of what I did.
Do as I say, not as I do.
100%.
Now, listen, honestly, Gabby, really enjoyed that. Fantastic going through your career, and hats off to the career you had, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you,
Good
mate.
crack, mate, and got some serious stuff out for the youngs as well. And like I say, mate, thanks for coming on the show. And like I say, if you can just
No problem, mate.
spread it for me and stuff, it'd be great. And yeah, mate, great to meet you. Great to meet you across FaceTime like this. And like I say, mate, really, really appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, anytime, mate. No problem.
Take care, mate.